comes to the person who's incarcerated. So there's a very delicate game that has to be played here, and playing it out in the open doesn't always get results.
Yeah, Gloria, Prime Minister Harper talked about this earlier this week, of course, and he said exactly that. He said we can't make the Mexican judiciary act the way we want it to. They can't make our judiciary act the way they want it to. That's the way it works in these things. But he also touched on a little bit on what Mr. Casey was saying, and that he says that that this is actually going to be an issue for Canadians, that it becomes a flashpoint, that we are able to say, look, Mexico is dangerous, it's a dangerous place for us. He says that the Mexicans are actually quite worried about this, quite concerned about public opinion in that country.
Yeah, Craig, because you hear from MPs privately that this is what they hear from their constituents all the time, more than anything else.
I think what Canadians have to realize, and so often their innocence abroad, they're taking cheap holidays to Mexico. It's the first time they've ever been anywhere outside Canada. They drink too much and do other things too much. They have to realize that Mexico is a third world country, that it is just coming out of 60 years of dictatorship, tremendous corruption, especially among the police and the justice system and in politics, and that Canadians are innocents abroad, as I say, when they go down there and expect that they're going to a country like Canada. They are not. And the distribution of income in Mexico, which is becoming very wealthy in one part of the country, is terrible. There are a lot of poor people. Mexico has a history of violence, and so, you get what you get when you go there. You've got to be careful. Any third world country, but especially in Mexico.
On the other hand, we have to tread a little bit of a fine line here between attacking one of our NAFTA partners, full bore, and fighting for the release of this woman, or at least her return to Canada.
But if Mexico wants to be a successful democracy, it's got to start turning into one. And that
there's one
justice system,
there's one issue here that does need some public discussion, and that is Brenda Martin's lifeline, as it is for most Canadians who find themselves in prison abroad, is we have over the years signed treaties with 70 countries to repatriate Canadians from foreign jails so they can at least serve their time in Canadian prisons. And the one thing that's happened is that since the Conservatives come to power, the number of those that are being approved have dropped dramatically. And so the message that's going out even to our foreign embassies is, don't fight too hard for these people, because when they get to the minister's desk, Stockwell Day is not going to approve them. Right. So this, I think, is going to become an issue of controversy, political controversy over the coming weeks, and something that this government needs to account for.
Yeah, Gloria, let's move on, because you've written about this, and and we talked to the immigration minister earlier in the show. This whole immigration bill, the changes that she wants to make to the immigration policy that now are embedded in a budget bill. What's going on there?
Well, let me start by saying that I think the minister actually does recognize that she's got a problem.